Hi, everybody. This is Holly with Confirm It. Sorry, we're a little bit late today. Had a little bit of technical trouble when getting this live stream started, but I did want to dive in as quickly as possible so we can get the content out to you in the best possible way. So I apologize for the lateness, but hopefully we're all good now. So today we're back for Think From Home. And this is Confirm It. My name is Holly Carter. I've done a few other live sessions here on YouTube, and it's been a blast. So hopefully you're enjoying it as much as I am. But I did want to dive into a new topic today. We've talked about a whole bunch of other things before, but I think now is a great time to talk about automation. So if you haven't ever joined us before, you'll find out this is just a quick little bite-sized session, 15, 20 minutes or so, where we talk through some important topics in the realm of insights. So automation is a pretty important topic to us because, especially now, the economy is having some challenges, and we've wanted to be sure that people are streamlining their processes in the best way possible. Now, when we talk about automation, we're not talking about challenges insofar as, automating things to the point where people are losing their jobs or replacing everybody with robots. But we're talking about things that can streamline your workflow so that you're doing things efficiently, so that you're delivering high quality insights in the fastest way possible to satisfy clients or satisfy your stakeholders. So there's a lot of benefits to working with various means of automation. Again, you deliver things faster, you can handle a higher volume, which means you can accept more work, you can do more things, and really do more to contribute to the organization that has asked you to get these insights. And we know that insights are going to provide the foundation for making improvements in an organization, sometimes growing an organization, trying out new product lines, etc. So this is pretty important stuff. And I think when we get into the world of automation, we start to open up some opportunities where, again, we can drive higher revenue, we can do more things because we have simplified our processes. Now, when we're talking about automation, you know that there is going to be a setup. You're going to have to do a little bit of the legwork to get things started. But I thought today we would kind of break this into two sections. I want to talk about what types of automations are available now, just some things you may or may not be using that you may consider using because it could help to streamline your processes in data collection and reporting and analytics and so on across the insights or research process. And we're going to talk about some really cool ways that people are using automation now and how they plan to use it into the future. So to get started with that, let's think for a second about the process of getting to insights. So, insights aren't just born out of magic. They're not coming out of thin air. You need to do something in order to make sure that insights are actually appearing, right? That usually starts with some form of pulling together data. So we're going to be pulling together data in a wide variety of ways, whether it's conducting surveys, sometimes integrations that are pulling in existing data or data from various sources outside of your core data collection surveys. So whatever that means of bringing data in, there's a lot of different automation techniques in there. So if we think first about surveys, let's start with the survey. One of the cool things that we can do with surveys that kind of automates, and automation again is going to streamline process, but it can also solve some problems. So one of the great things we can do with surveys in an automation realm is to create something of a conversational type survey. So what's beautiful about this conversational type survey is that it's more engaging for the respondent. So here's kind of how it works. With this type of survey, I would ask a base question. So the starting question might be, how is your experience with our company today? And from there, the respondent would start typing, and this is a free-form open text question type, where the person would start typing, and maybe they're going to say it was good. Well, the system then sees those words, and it looks at it and says, well, we need a little bit more information. And then it pops up another question saying, that's great. Can you tell me more about it? And the person would say, well, it was a good experience because the service representative was really helpful. And the system would then recognize the keywords again and come back and say, do you remember the service representative's name? So we can give that person the appropriate kudos. So again, what you're doing here is you're creating a conversation in an automated fashion. There's no, again, once you've done the initial setup, it's going to take care of itself and allow you to draw out additional information. This is great for another automation technique, which is text analytics. So when we're working with open question types, open text question types, this gives us a great opportunity to get a feel for how people are feeling about our organization. That kind of moves us outside of the tick box or drop down menu or your traditional more boring survey, if I can be so blunt. So you allow people to really truly speak their mind. But when you start opening up that world where you're asking people to give you that kind of content, you end up with a lot of stuff to review. Text analytics is an analytics opportunity for automation, where again, there's some setup at the front end, which in and of itself can be automated, and we'll discuss that as well. But when you've done that initial setup, you can then just let that text run through your text analytics, and it'll put it into the appropriate categories that are defined according to the needs of the business. So categorizing according to whatever kind of structure you have or knowledge you have of your business. And it'll also define and understand the sentiment behind what the respondent is saying. So it's a really powerful way to automate something that was once upon a time a very manual coding process. So it's a great opportunity for automation. Now, I had said at the start that there's a setup, but that setup can be somewhat automated. So what we have for Confirm It is that we have this sort of hybrid solution. Again, I told you, people are involved in this. We're not getting robots to take over the world. Instead, there's this hybrid process where you automate part of it and you still have the human interaction. And the reason for this is that people are smart. You know your business better than anybody else does. So what we've done, and this is not every text analytics provider, but what Confirm It does for our text analytics product is we have this thing called Concept Miner, which goes through all the text that you have, and it bubbles up the most important concepts, topics, themes, statements, things that are kind of recurring in a pattern. And it bubbles that up and says, hey, you should consider these things to become part of your model. And that model is that setup that we were talking about. So when you understand what these topics are in that automated fashion, then you, as the person who knows a heck of a lot more about your business than the machine does, you can go in and look at these topics and say, yes, this word or this topic is important and needs to be part of my model, part of my setup. And you can add those in again with the click of a button. So you've made that setup, you've done that setup in the model builder. You've created a model that's appropriate to your needs based on what you know in an automated and hybrid fashion. So again, you're creating that model with the automation of Concept Miner and the human component of double checking that Concept Miner got it right. And then bumping it into your model, which automates the process from that point forward. That allows you then to go back at any point and tweak that model, make sure that new concepts aren't bubbling up, that there's not new themes popping up. But in the end, so there is a human interaction, but in the end, you've cut your time in half from the old school manual coding. Plus, you can enjoy the benefits of the longer form text responses in those two ways, with that question type that allows you to encourage people to talk more, and the automation in the review of those statements for the sake of putting them into categories and then assessing sentiment. So really powerful automation capabilities that fall into sort of that world of data collection and analysis. So there's huge opportunities there right out of the gate. But once we've done all that analysis, then I think another area where we tend to find some great benefit in automation is report delivery. So once we find those insights, we know what they are, we need to share them, right? And that's a key component to the research process, is pushing that information out to the powers that be and letting them know these are the insights you need to do something about. You need to take action on, or drive your team to take action on it. Well, at that point, we can deliver that information in an automated fashion. So beyond text analytics, obviously there are many other analytics styles and techniques that can be employed in an automated fashion. You can put set all that up and get the methodologies in play and make everything so it's ready to go. And then as the data is coming in, it'll automatically do the analysis and then populate either a report or a dashboard for you. So that's some really powerful stuff too. My preference, if anybody wants to know, which, well, I'm going to tell you anyway, so you might as well listen. I love dashboards. Dashboards can be as pretty and graphical and exciting as you want them to be. And if you were here for a previous chat, you know I spent a lot of time talking about visualization in the research process. Visualization is important to helping people understand. And that's the beauty of dashboards, is you can visualize this data, make it so people understand the insights that you're putting in front of them so that they do something about it. And I keep going back to the do something about it because I see that as being extremely important. If people are not taking action on the insights you're providing, then you're not proving your value. They're not seeing the return on investment from the investment that they put into, hiring your research firm or paying for the budget associated with the research or voice of the customer program you're running. So it's really important that we're sure that everything we're doing is ultimately driving action. And this gets into another area where we benefit from dashboards. Actually, two areas now that I think about it. One, when we're working with dashboards, we have this real-time capability. So as the data is coming in, the dashboard is alive and it's constantly dynamically updating and providing the most recent up-to-date information. On the other side, dashboards, again, allow you to have a lot of flexibility in how you deliver the information, what it looks like. But one thing beyond that is it's not just about what it looks like, it's about the data it contains. You can create dashboards using the same data set. You can create dashboards that contain the insights and the information that is important to the recipient. So for example, based on the same data set, I can ultimately create different dashboards for different people. And again, once they're created, it's a once and done. You create it, you set it up, and then you automate the process so it just keeps updating itself. But different people in the organization, in the recipient organization, are then receiving the insights that are most valuable to them. So for example, somebody who's working on the line, somebody, line rank and file employee is going to need different information than their manager. Their manager needs to know different information, maybe about multiple employees or about, multiple different departments. Then you've got the regional manager, for example, who's going to want to know about all the different stores in their region. Then you've got the executives at the top who are going to want a high-level overview of everything without getting too much into the weeds. You can do that with dashboards. And again, it's an automated process. You set it up and you let it do its thing. The data comes in, it automatically flows in, giving them these live dashboards that are highly visual and easy to understand. Now, if you're a person who's just in love with PowerPoint, that's good too. We can do the PowerPoint thing. And the beauty of that is that we can cut out a lot of time in PowerPoint design too. And if you're anything like me, you totally know the pain of PowerPoint. I do my very best, but there are stick figures. When I try to draw them, they laugh at me. I have no artistic capability whatsoever, but the beauty of being able to use a PowerPoint creator is that you're able to take these visualizations that you've predefined in a system set to make visualizations and push them into a PowerPoint and create that PowerPoint within seconds. So you're able to deliver something in a more automated fashion, even through PowerPoint. I think the key piece to consider with all this is that really every step of your process can be automated or can have some form of automation incorporated into it. And it's really important, especially at a time like this, where many people are even more budget conscious than ever before, as we're seeing, economic downturns as related to the pandemic and so on. It's more important than ever before that we really step back and consider our processes, consider what areas we can improve, what can we automate, what can we make better, what can we streamline, and how can we grow our business. And that moves us into the second kind of area I wanted to talk about, and kind of a case study for you of one company that I think is fantastic. So one company that we're working with, it's Delvinia's Methodify. They are, in my opinion, just awesome. It's a customer of ours, and what they've done is they've taken a wide variety of the automation capabilities that are built into the Confirmit platform, and they've strung them together, put a user interface on top of it so that their customers can go and they can, in an automated fashion, select the type of research they want. And then on the back end, the various components are pulling together, doing their thing. It's pulling sample, it's pushing that sample into, you know, whatever list it's going to have. It's got an automated email template set up to it, so it can, you know, automatically pipe in the recipient's name or the respondent's name, so it looks very personalized, but it was actually an automated process. All the results that are coming back in are all going through automated analysis and ultimately to automated report delivery. Now, they've created this process by stringing together multiple modules with Confirmit and creating a user interface on top and productizing this. So they've created this DIY research product out of automation. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, a brilliant idea. Now, from their client's perspective, this just looks like, you know, they're click, 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 done. I've got research. It took all of no time at all. It was super fast, super easy. I got what I needed, nothing more, didn't take days or hours to figure out. And it's just this streamlined, beautiful process. And I think ultimately that DIY process that they've created is the way the world is going. There's more and more that people are looking for just really quick research. And I know it can be a little nerve-wracking because we're never sure are they doing it right or is the methodology right. But in the way that Methodify has done it, it's actually sort of solidified their methodology because they've automated their methodology. It's a beautiful, beautiful concept. If you're running voice of the customer programs, much of this is still the same. Most of this is still the same, if not all. You can use the same type of automation techniques to streamline your entire process and even, you know, present it in a different way, allowing people to pull insights that are important to them when they need them. Again, a dashboard would work, but you can even follow something like what Methodify had done, sort of automating the entire process, allowing people to pull and draw on customer information on an as-needed basis. Again, anything is going to require a little setup, but with some imagination and a really good step back and critical look at your processes, you can find areas for automation. And of course, we're always here to help. I will give it a little plug that in a few weeks' time, I recommend you check out the Confirmit website to learn more about it. But in a few weeks' time, I am doing a webinar, more of a deep dive with Methodify. And I do recommend you join it because you'll get to learn a little bit more about how they've done all this and where they're going next, which I think is pretty incredible, pretty awesome. I won't give you any spoilers, but they've got some really incredible ideas for where they're expanding this idea, and I think it's well worth hearing. So that's my speech for today. Some great automation techniques that sort of range in everything from your data collection to automated analysis to ways you're presenting your findings, whether it be dashboards or PowerPoints. There's honestly so much more. We could probably go on for days on the different areas that you can automate. You can automate question delivery. So if you're a survey delivery, so you want to deliver a survey sort of in the moment, you can use geofencing with your beacon technology and location technology, GPS location technology. There's just so many things you can do. Automating data collection through your website so that you can be sure that you're finding out what people's experience is in every channel possible. Again, I won't keep you here forever, but because again, I could legitimately go on forever. But I think the key takeaway from this presentation today is to think about your process. Think about some of the areas I've mentioned for automation here. Think about what you can do to streamline, because it is super important that you have nice, tight processes, that you're automating the things that are appropriate to automate so that you are able to take on more work, do more, and deliver faster to your customers. If you need help, you know where to find us. Give us a call. Check us out at the Confirmit website. If you're a customer, talk to your account manager. We can help you figure out what areas you might be able to automate. But for today, I will call this done. I appreciate you spending some time with us. It's always fun having our Think From Home sessions. Feel free to contact us anytime. In the meantime, I hope that you will like this video, if in fact you did, and subscribe to our channel. If you Subscribe to our channel. There's also a little bell notification that'll let you know when we go live or let you know when we put up new content. So that's very useful. We try to make it short, sweet, and as useful as possible. And we'd love to see you the next time. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. We're delaying by a week. We're going to start doing bi-weekly instead of every week, just to make sure that we're not overwhelming you too much. So we will be back on the 12th of June. At that point, we're going to cover a new topic, which I think is super exciting. I'm quite partial to it. I'm going to be interviewing 2 of my colleagues in the marketing department. And the reason for that is that we kind of got together and considered the value of marketing in the research process. So if you need an advocate in an organization to help you get people engaged and doing things, taking action on the insights you're uncovering, marketing is a huge help. We've got people in the marketing department who may need your insights, and that's an area, a department you can sell your services into. But how do you do it? How do you talk to marketing? Another thing to know about marketing is because marketing is part of the revenue cycle, coupled up with the sales team and so on and so forth, marketing often has the right people's ears to make sure that the insights you're able to deliver are going to be making the most impact in the organization possible. So it may not be the first team you think of when you think about insights, whether it's voice of the customer, voice of the employee, or market research, but it should be. It should be the first department you think of to help you further your efforts. So we're going to talk about that next week and find out how you can get into the marketing department and get them to be your ally and your advocate. And that will be next week, 1 p.m. 2 weeks, 1 p.m. That'll be June 12th, 2020. And we're looking forward to seeing you there. Again, like, subscribe, notification bell, and all that jazz. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Definitely looking forward to catching up with you the next time. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today.